Radha Radha, everyone. So last time we were talking or reading about Jagadisa Das Baba Ji, and he was a very, how to say, nice person. I mean, in a way that he would never criticize anyone. He would always be careful not to offend anyone, even for some smaller things, which most of us maybe do not consider an offense. But he was very, very careful. Like, for example, he was giving lectures in other places, but not where he was living, because if somebody came to him for some advice or something, he would maybe feel that they feel bad if he can't help them at that time, because maybe lecture was in progress. So that's why he never gave lectures at his place. So we are continuing with the story. Baba never found fault with anyone. Jagadish Das Baba. Also, he did not talk ill of anyone. Actually, I said wrong before. Actually, he didn't go anywhere to listen any. Sorry, this is different. He did not go anywhere to listen to any religious discourse, because he apprehended that the speaker might say something which he did not like or approve, and that might make him find fault with the speaker. Wow, this is really interesting. I mean, I can say for myself that sometime when I listen some speaker, I get the thoughts. It can be like negative thoughts, maybe, like what this person is talking about. You know, if you are listening some lecture of someone and you do not agree maybe with that, or you do not like, but he didn't go anywhere to listen any religious discourse, just not to have these thoughts and to make him find faults with those speakers. So this is really wow. In Vrindavana, the saints often organize festivals to celebrate certain occasions, as for example, the birthday of Ram or Krishna. But Baba never organized any festival, because that disturbed his bhajana. The devotees generally regard it as incumbent on them to observe the disappearance day of their guru. Baba observed the disappearance day of his guru by purchasing one malapua, so this is cake made from wheat flour, malasa, and ghee, and giving a piece of it to everyone who came to him as prasad. So just that he was doing. Once a devotee named Sinu Babu offered him 40 rupees so that he might celebrate the disappearance day of his guru decently. He could not turn down the offer made in the name of the guru. He went to the market and purchased molasses worth 20 rupees for preparing malapua. After keeping the molasses in his cottage, he went to a nearby well for washing his feet, but forgot to close the door of the cottage. On returning, he found that a number of monkeys had entered the cottage and were freely feasting on the molasses. Well, sugar. Baba laughed to his heart's content to see the monkeys feasting. There was no question of his driving them away, for they were the monkeys of Vrindavan, and they had kindly invited themselves to the function in connection with the celebration of the disappearance day of his guru. When the feast was over and the monkeys were leaving, he respectfully bowed down to them. In the evening, when Sinu Babu came and inquired about the celebration, he said, "The celebration was very successful." So Jagadish Baba said, "The celebration was very successful. A large number of monkey Vaishnavas feasted on molasses. The feast cost only 20 rupees. Here are remaining 20 rupees, which I thankfully return. Regarding prasad, you may go inside the cottage. Probably you will find some particles of it scattered on the ground." Jagadisa Dasa Baba was free from all desires. But once a desire arose in his mind. He desired that a beautiful lake be built in Kalyada to commemorate Krishna's sport with the cobra called Kalya. He mentioned this to Kamini Babu, the manager of Rajarishi Banamali Raja Bahadur. Kamini Babu began to raise contributions for the project. Readily, the rich people began to contribute. A widow of Lala Babu's family contributed 75,000 rupees. The Raja of Hetamapur contributed 25,000. Rajarishi Banamali Rai agreed to take responsibility for the rest of the expenditure. The map and estimate for the construction of a beautiful lake were prepared in consultation with Jagadisa Dasa Baba. But soon, Baba found that the lake project had taken the place of Krishna Lila in his mind. This made him so angry with himself that he went and hid himself. He was hiding in some forest for a number of days. People went out in search for him, but he could not be found. Suddenly, one day he came back. Kamini Babu asked for his permission to start the work of digging. He became very grave and said, "The desire for the lake caused obstruction in my bhajana. If now the work starts, my bhajana will be over. So I insist that no one should make even a mention of it so long as I am alive." This is interesting, like desires for other things are actually not helping us in our bhajana, and it's difficult to stay one-pointed then if some other desires are coming. Like in this example, as we see that he was in his bhajana and always in Krishna Lila, and now because of desire, even if it's connected with Krishna Lila in some way, had disturbed his bhajana. Jagadisa Dasa Baba Ji was very humble. Mahaprabhu has said in the famous Trinada piece Sunichana Shloka, that one should be humble like a blade of grass, and tolerant and forbearing like a tree. He should give respect to everyone without desiring to be respected by others. In Baba, the meaning of the shloka had assumed a concrete form. When someone asked him how to achieve prema, he replied, in order to achieve prema, one should try to mold himself into the frame of the Trinad Api shloka. The more he molds himself according to it, the nearer he will be to prema. And when he has completely molded himself, he would most certainly achieve it. He also said, when your mind is completely free from all desires, except the desire for prema bhakti, then and only then you will realize Krishna bhakti. Siddha saints can leave their body at will. When Jagadisa Dasa Baba became 100 years old, he desired to leave his body. At that time, Gauranga Das Baba Ji was living with him. On account of his affection for Gauranga Das, it was not possible for Baba to leave the body in his presence. Therefore, he asked him to go and live in Barshana and serve the Bhanukar Sarovar, a large pond, by sweeping and cleaning its surroundings every day. When he was about to leave, he said to him, remember 3 things. Never ask anyone for any favor. Never disclose the secret of your heart to anyone. And never attend a feast. So these were instructions to him. Gauranga Das began to live in Varshana and render regular service to Bhanukar Kund. After some days, Jagadisa Dasa Baba appeared before him in a luminous body. He saw him standing at some distance from him. But as he moved towards him, he asked him not to do so by waving his hand and disappeared. Gauranga Das Ji understood that Baba had left the body. Struck with grief, he immediately started for Vrindavan. On the way, he learned that Baba had actually left the body on the 6th day of the second half of the month Ashada. So that in 1915, he left his body, this Jagadisa Dasa Baba. So this is the second part of the story about Jagadisa Dasa Baba. When we are reading these stories, I mean, what always is for me inspiring is their dedication, their discipline, and one-pointedness also. And this is really what we are all searching for. We all want that we can be one-pointed always, that our Ishtadev is always on our mind, whatever we do, always. So by reading like these stories and association with devotees, definitely it's so much easier. So our next story is about Pandit Sri Ram Krishna Das Baba Ji. Pandit Ram Krishna Das Baba Ji's earlier name was Ram Pratap. Ram Pratap. Ram Pratap was born in the year 1857 in a family with strong traditions of bhakti. His grandfather was a Vaishnava of Ramanuja Sampradaya. He was Siddha in Narayan Kavach. Narayan Kavach, like a special mantra relating to Narayan. And was well versed in the Shastras. Rama Singh, the Maharaj of Jaipur, appointed him as a tutor for Yuvaraj or Crown Prince. He also gave him 2 villages as Jagira, or like gift offering, and built a house for him near his palace. His son, Lakshmi Narayan, was also a great devotee. He left home at an early age and went to the forest, where for a number of years he did japa of Ram mantra. He was blessed with the darshan of Ram and his brothers mounted on horses. Ram asked him to go back home and marry. From his wife, Kamala Devi, was born Ram Pratap. Ram Pratap was only 3 years old when his father died. His extraordinary intelligence and love for learning enabled him to learn by heart the sutras of Panini, Saraswati Vyakarana, and Amara Kosha. When he was only 11 years old, he learned all this. After his sacred thread ceremony at the age of 11, he performed Savitri Purascharana and had the darshana of Savitri Devi. Savitri Devi advised him to go to Vrindavan. He tried to go to Vrindavan, but his mother did not permit. However, at the age of 13, he somehow succeeded in sneaking away. In Vrindavana, he lived near Govindaji's temple under the care of the Goswami of the temple. Even after coming to Vrindavana, he continued his studies. He learned Nyaya philosophy from Sudarshan Shastri of Rangaji temple, Srimad Bhagavatam from Nrsimha Das Ji of Karauli Kunj, and Hari Bhakti Vilas from Gopilal Goswami. While studying Sata Sandarbha, he used to read 50 chapters of Srimad Bhagavatam before Gopeshwar Mahadev every day. He completed his education at the age of 20. After completing his education, he took Diksha and Vesh, Babaji Vesh, from Siddha Nityananda Das Baba Ji and was named Sri Ram Krishna Das. But he was generally called Pandit Baba on account of his learning. On the advice of Gurudev, he went to Govardhan to learn Krishna Lila Smarana from Siddha Sri Krishna Das Baba of Govardhan. After that, he began to live in Varshana and practice Lila Smarana. In Varshana lived the famous Kirtaniya Gauracharan Das Babaji. So Pandit Baba began to learn Bihagana Kirtana from him. Gradually, his absorption in Kirtana increased and absorption in Lila Smarana decreased. Gurudev asked him to stop learning Kirtan and to devote himself wholly to bhajan. He stopped learning Kirtan, but even then, he could not concentrate on bhajan. Gurudev then asked him to do Purascharana of Krishna mantra for 17 days. He did the Purascharan in Udavakyari under a Kadamba tree. During the first 3 days, he took only milk. During the next 12 days, only water, and on the remaining 2 days, not even water. On the 17th day, he had the darshan of Radha Krishna. This was confirmed by Baba himself once while he lived in Dauji's Bagichi, a small garden. The present site of Vrindavan Research Institute in Ramanreti. That day, he was lying under the tin shed in the garden. Some devotees, including Priya Sharan Baba, Kripa Sindhu Baba, and Lalita Mohan Goswami, were sitting at some distance and talking about Purascharan performed by Baba. One of them said that Baba had the darshan of Krishna Balaram after Purascharan. Baba suddenly spoke out, "No, not Krishna Balaram, Radha Krishna." He further added, Radha Krishna said, "We are pleased with you. Let us know what you want." I replied, "I do not know what I want except your happiness." Radha and Krishna then smiled and disappeared. After this, Baba began to live in Raghava's cave in Puchari, the Hind portion of Giriraj, in which Raghav Pandit, an associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, lived. By the grace of Radha Krishna, he had now become Siddha in Lila Smaran. From 2 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he used to do Lila Smarana inside the cave. After that, he came out of the cave. At this time, there used to be a crowd of sadhus in front of the cave. They thought they were asking his advice in bhajan. Baba removed their doubts and difficulties. Then lecture and kirtan were performed. This continued till evening. In the evening, Baba went out for Madhukari. After some time, Baba's absorption in Lila Smarana became so deep that it became impossible for him to follow any routine. No one knew when he would sit down for Smarana and when he would come out of the cave. Sometimes he remained lost in Smarana for 2 or 3 days continuously and did not go out even for Madhukari. The sadhus who used to collect in front of his cave were deprived of his company. Once, at this time, Baba's mother came from Jaipur to see him. She had to remain sitting outside the cave, waiting for him for 2 days. The third day, when he came out of the cave, he went straight for Madhukari and did not even cast a glance at her. His mother followed him for some distance, weeping and crying. Even then, he did not turn to look at her. She returned home with a broken heart. When his mother had gone home, he began to have difficulty in Lila Smarana and felt restless. He went to Krishna Das Baba and inquired about the cause. Baba said, "The cause is obvious. You have committed an offense against your mother." So he then wrote a letter to his mother, apologizing and requesting her to come to Vrindavan. He arranged for her stay in a separate house in Puchari, in which she lived till her death. He took care of her and did everything possible to make her happy. His Shakti for Lila Smarana was restored as soon as he started serving her. Baba's mother was also a devotee. Krishna may forgive any offense committed against himself, but he never forgives an offense committed against his devotee. After some time, there arose a conflict in Gauriya Vaishnava Sampradaya regarding Gaura Mantra. Some holding that a separate Gaura Mantra was necessary. Others holding that it was not necessary because Gaura was essentially Krishna. Pandit Baba did not want to involve himself in this conflict. Therefore, he went to Varshana to live in Morakuti, a solitary place on the top of the Varshana hill. He lived there for 8 years. After the conflict was over, he again came back to the cave. On a winter night, he was sleeping inside the cave with the door closed, while a charcoal stove was burning in the cave to provide heat. In the morning, when he got up, he was surprised to find himself outside the cave. Obviously, someone had brought him there to save him from the gas of burning charcoal, which could be fatal. This was, however, nothing unusual, since, as we have said before, the spiritual agencies in Vraja often come to the help of the sadhakas in times of difficulty or need. Once again, spiritual help came to Baba when some people belonging to another sampradaya tried to hurt him. Baba was generally respected by the acharyas of all the sampradayas of Raja because of his devotion, learning, and broad-mindedness. He was well versed in the shastras of all the sampradayas and was also conversant with the modes of their religious practice, so he could nicely talk with them. Pandit Amolak Ram Shastri and Baba Hamsadas of Nimbarka Sampradaya, Shri Sudarshanacharya Shri Dulari Prasad Shastri and Ganapati Shastri of Ramanuja Sampradaya, Samkarshana Dasji of Ramananda Sampradaya, and Shri Purushottam Bhattaji, the famous scholar and Kantavachaka of Pushti Sampradaya, all came to him for advice on matters relating to the Shastras or religious practices. And Baba always advised them according to the philosophy and practice of their own Sampradaya. Even Prangopal Goswami, so Prangopal Goswami, we know who is he, is in our line, no? Prangopal Goswami, a descendant of Nityananda Prabhu, and the biggest exponent at that time of Gauriya Vaishnava philosophy. So, and with him, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, the founder president of the Gauriya mission, they both held him in high esteem and were coming to him for advice. But some orthodox and vicious people of a particular sampradaya got jealous of him. They once tried to defame Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatan, the most respected acharyas of the Gauriya Sampradaya, by preaching that they originally belonged to their Sampradaya. But they were chased out from it on account of their misconduct. Baba forcefully criticized them. They felt very much humiliated and conspired to kill him. One day, they hid themselves somewhere near his cave, so that when he went out for Madhukari, they might attack him on the way. But when Baba came out of the cave and started towards the village for Madhukari, they saw that a lion was following him like a domesticated dog. When he reached the village, the lion hid himself somewhere near the samadhis of the Goswamins on the right side of the village. When Baba returned to his cave, the lion again followed him up to the cave and then disappeared. The bad guys were both surprised and frightened. they realized that Baba was a Siddha Mahapurusha, and their hostile attitude towards him was transformed into one of love and devotion. One day, when Baba was doing bhajana inside the cave, a poisonous snake crawled over his body and coiled around his chest and neck. But he continued his bhajan undisturbed. After some time, the snake crawled down and disappeared. At night, Baba heard a voice. Someone said, "You leave this cave." Immediately, Baba left the cave and began to live in Shyamakuti near Kusum Sarovar. Baba never gave Diksha to anyone. But many people who received instructions from him in bhajan regarded him as their Shiksha Guru. Important among these were Sri Gauranga Das Ji, Sri Priya Sharan Das Ji, Sri Kripa Sindhu Das Ji, Sri Vishnu Das Ji, Sri Keshav Das Ji, and Sri Lalita Mohan Goswami. They were also some who, although never initiated by anyone, regarded him as him alone as their guru. As for example, Thakur Kushal Sinhaji of Gijagar. So they considered him as their guru. Gauranga Das Baba Ji, whose former name was Dhirendranath Chakravarti, and who was the son of a rich landlord of Kolkata and a brilliant student of Scottish Church College in Kolkata, renounced the world at the age of 20. He took Diksha from Siddha Sri Ram Krishna Das Baba Ji Maharaj of Calcutta, so this is the other one, and came to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, he began to do bhajan under the guidance of Siddha Sri Jagadisa Das Baba. Jagadisa Das Baba was very much impressed by his bhakti bhav and extraordinary intelligence. He asked him to study the Shastras from Pandit Baba. Pandit Baba took special interest in him and began to teach him. Pandit Baba, this is actually our Baba. Second. Sri Ram Krishna Das Baba. Yeah. So Baba took special interest in him and began to teach him. In due course, he acquired mastery over Srimad Bhagavatam, Sata Sandarbha, and the other Bhakti Shastras. Pandit Baba then asked him to take up one book after another and deliver lectures on it in the presence of sadhus, who had again started coming to him in the evening. His lectures began to attract large crowds and became a regular part of Baba's routine in the evening. Priya Sharan Baba was also young when he came to Vrindavan. He was a student at Varanasi and came to Vrindavan on a short visit. But on meeting Baba, Pandit Baba, he felt so much drawn by him that he never went back. Although he was already initiated in Nimbarka Sampradaya, he accepted him as his Shiksha Guru and began to do bhajan under his guidance. Baba guided him according to the mood of worship and meditation prevalent in the Nimbarka Sampradaya. Just as Gauranga Das rose to be a famous Siddha Mahatma and the leader of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Priya Sharan Baba rose to be an eminent Mahatma of the Nimbarka Sampradaya. About this time also came Kripa Sindhu Das Baba. He endeared himself so much to Baba by his devotion to him that he accepted him as his lifelong companion and servant. He made good progress in bhajan under Baba's guidance. He became so advanced and so much attracted to Baba inwardly that he could know his mental condition even when he was away at some distance. Once Baba was ill. He became so weak that he could not speak. He felt thirsty and asked for water by saying, "Ah, ah," which the people by his side could not understand. Kripa Sindhu had at that time gone out for Madhukari. He also began to feel very thirsty. He drank water a number of times, but the thirst could not be quenched. He understood intuitively that Baba was thirsty. Quickly he returned to Baba and gave him water. His thirst was automatically quenched along with Baba's. Another time Baba had severe toothache. A doctor was called to extract the teeth. The doctor asked Baba, "Which tooth aches, Baba?" "I do not know," replied Baba. The doctor was laughing and said, "Then who knows, Baba? Kripa Sindhu knows." So Kripa Sindhu pointed out the teeth which needs to be removed. In 1918, Pandit Baba had influenza. He was brought to Vrindavan for treatment. And then for 8 years, he lived in Vrindavan at different places. From 1926, he began to live in Dauji's garden, where he lived until his end. Vishnudas came to Baba when he had shifted to Dauji's garden. He was at that time only 14 years old. He was sent by his guru, Sri Yadunandan Das Baba Ji of Suryakund, to serve Pandit Baba in his old age and to do bhajan under his guidance. He came all the way from Suryakund to Vrindavan on foot. Because the day was very hot, he got fever on the way. When he reached Dauji's garden, the fever was so high that he lay down near the well of the garden. Baba came out of his room in the evening when it was time for Madhukari. Vishnudas lay prostrate at his feet in obeisance, and Baba said, Welcome, Vishnudas. Let us go for Madhukari. Baba, I have high fever, said Vishnudas. So what? Said Baba. He held him by the hand and took him along with him. The moment Baba held his hand, he felt that his fever and fatigue had vanished. The hand once held by Baba was never left. Vishnudas remained with Baba till the end, following him like a shadow wherever he went. Vishnudas Baba gained much from Baba's company. Baba used to be absorbed in Leela even when he went out for Madhukari with Vishnudas. His inner experience was sometimes transferred to Vishnudas like an electric current on account of his touch, because he often held his arm or shoulder while going and coming. One day, in the month of June, Baba was returning to his kuti or cottage after Madhukari. So he was with Vishnudas. His left hand resting upon his right shoulder. Suddenly, on the way, Vishnudas experienced that the environment had changed. The hot wind of June had turned into cool and soothing breeze of winter, and the atmosphere was filled with the sweet smell of kadamba flowers of spring. Vishnudas seemed to be transported into a state of bliss. He said, Baba, what is this? Baba said, by Radharani's grace, you have been given a glimpse of the real nature of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is celestial. It only appears to be terrestrial. In Vrindavan, all the seasons coexist and serve Radha Krishna according to their wish. When a sadhaka's heart is purified by bhajan, he sees the spiritual Vrindavan and the Leela that eternally goes on there. Thakur Kushal Singh was a big Jagiradar of Rajasthan and the Chief Justice of Jaipur High Court. He was also very learned, religious, fearless, and strong-willed. He resigned the post of Chief Justice and came to Baba with the intention of renouncing everything and becoming a sadhu. He requested Baba to give him vesh, or Babaji vesh. Yeah? Baba said, you need not renounce. It is not possible to do bhajan as a house. Is it not possible? Sorry. It said, you need not renounce. Is it not possible to do bhajan as a householder? Oh, my days are gone. Bedtime is now coming. Sadhus will do everything that is done by a grihasta. So he was saying at that time that bedtimes are coming. Sadhus will do everything that is done by a grihasta. They will build palatial buildings, keep bank accounts, and live luxuriously. It is better to stay at home and do bhajan quietly. Thus, you will not be known as a saint, and nobody will come to disturb you. Wow, this is really great. That nobody, you are home and nobody knows. Kushal Singhji, Kushal Singhji, gave up the idea of becoming a sadhu. So he used to come to Vrindavan once in a month or two and returned to Jaipur after living in Baba's company for some time. Next person, Thakur Hari Singh, was the Jagiradar of pneumonia in Jaipur state. Like Kushal Singhji, he also regarded Baba as his guru and used to come to him for satsanga. Once he said to Baba, "Baba, my wife is seriously ill. Astrologers have predicted that her stars are bad and she will die soon. The doctors have also lost all hope for her. Kindly advise what she should do in her last days for her salvation." Baba said, "Let her read Srimad Bhagavatam. Her stars will become favorable." The stars are unfavorable only to the people who are not devoted to the Lord. They are friendly and serviceable to those so stars are friendly and serviceable to those who are devoted to the Lord. "But she is too weak to be able to read Bhagavat," said Sri Hari Singhji. "Then you can read it to her." So Thakur Hari Singh started reading Bhagavat to her. The stars actually turned in her favor. She became all right and is alive till this day. That time when the author was writing. Then we have Prangopal Goswami, who came to Vrindavan from Kolkata every year and read Srimad Bhagavatam and other bhakti scriptures before Baba for a month. Once, even before the scheduled time of his arrival, Baba began to make anxious inquiries about him from everyone who came. People were surprised and said, "Baba, why are you so anxious? He will come at the scheduled time in the afternoon. It is only about 12 o'clock now." But Prangopal came one day late because there was a train collision in Bamarauli and hundreds of people traveling in the same train in which he was traveling died. The compartment in which he and his party were traveling was safe, while the compartments just before and after were completely crushed. When Prangopal arrived in Vrindavan, he said that Baba's anxiety had saved him and his party. Otherwise, how could his compartment remain safe when those before and after that compartment were crushed? Prangopal Goswami was famous for his learning and masterly exposition of the Shastras. He was generally regarded as the final authority on all religious matters. Whenever anyone had any doubt or difficulty, he approached Prangopal Goswami for solution. But when Prangopal Goswami himself had any doubt or difficulty, he sought the advice of Baba. Baba solved his difficulty without no problem. Many times, the difficulty was solved merely by going to Baba and without actually referring it to him, without talking about the problem. His mere presence was enough to infuse intuitively into his mind the right solution. So, our time now it's coming to end for today. So
it's finished or
it's not there. Finished. One second, let me see how much more story. Yeah, I have many pages more story, and I finished that.
Little more, right?
Okay.
Our Param Guru's story.
No. This was finished now. This part about our Param Guru.
Pran Gopal Goswami.
Yeah. Now it's starting about something with Gauranga Das Baba Ji, not anymore with Pran Gopal Baba. So that's why I'm stopping here, because different stories starting. Yeah. Thank you. So we can see how this Baba is great. I mean, still we will see more stories about him and how our Param Guruji, Prangopal Goswami, was also coming to him, and how he was protected by him in that train accident.
Ramkrishna Das Baba Ji now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. So thank you everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story and that you got inspiration from this story or some parts of the story. I know I always get the inspiration from these Siddha saints. So thank you very much. Radha.